for this afternoon, prior to why we all came here, we had a visit from General Douglas MacArthur, and a new General Douglas MacArthur. And I'd like to introduce to you a student from the Mat-Su School District, a fourth grader from Tenina Elementary School in Wasilla, and he won his state's History B, the district's History B, the district, his class, his school, the state, as well as over spring break. He competed in Seattle for the Northwest. And in June, he's going to be representing not only Alaska, but the Northwest of the United States in the History B. He's only about this tall, but he beat a bunch of middle schoolers to get there. And so today he's going to, his name is Rob William Piku. And as I said, he's a fourth grader. But today, he is General Douglas MacArthur giving his last speech called Honor, Duty, Honor, Country, presented at the his last speech at the graduating class of West Point. General MacArthur.
Duty, honor, country. Those three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be. They are your rallying points to build courage when courage seems to fail, to regain faith when there seems to be little cause for faith, to create hope when hope becomes forlorn. The unbelievers will say they are but words, but a slogan, but a flamboyant phrase. Every pennant, every cynic, every hypocrite, every troublemaker, and I am sorry to say, some others of an entirely different character will try to downgrade them, even to the extent of mockery and ridicule. And what sort of soldiers are those you lead? Are they reliable? Are they brave? Are they capable of victory? Their story is known to all of you. It is the story of American man at arms. My estimate of him was formed on the battlefield many, many years ago, and has never changed. I regarded him then as I regard him now, as one of the world's most noblest figures, not also as one of the most finest military characters, but also as one of the most stainless. In his youth and strength, his love and loyalty, he gave all the mortality that can be given. The soldier above all other people prays for peace, when he must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war. Always there echoes and re-echoes. Duty, honor, country.
Good job, Mr. Piku. His speech was much better than mine. He memorized all those lines. Thank you. That was a nice treat. And I'm just going to say a few words before introducing our governor. And I previously said that we're just fortunate to have the bill signing here, a place where we believe in innovation. We try to renew ourselves to, push the grounds, if you will, of education and offer our students the best programs and the best schools. We believe in school choice, where we provide programs that families can choose. And many of our families choose many of our different programs for their own children. We have families that have homeschool students, middle college students, as well as charter school students, all in the same family, because it really is a choice about what matches the child and what matches the family. And then finally, our last word, our big motto is that we believe in customer service. And many times people don't understand what that means in a school sense, but to us it means that both our customers that are our community, that are supporting us, whether at the state level or local level, through their funds for public education, through our parents, as well as our students, we need to provide the kind of education that they're going to want and need as they begin their lives. Parts of the bill for us that were most amazing, of course, we supported all of our schools, but we allowed money both in our formula as well as outside the formula to be able to be innovative. This building here is a homeschool that serves 1,500 Mat-Su residents. in homeschooling. It's our largest single school, and the governor's bill provided additional opportunities and funds for our homeschools. We're going to expand up north, the other north, not that way. And also, our charter schools, this was a significant bill for our charter schools, and we have a charter school principal to speak here on that. In Bush, Alaska, it assisted with building out fiber so that learning and a blended type of learning of technology can be had not only here in more metropolitan areas, if you will, such as Mat-Su and Anchorage and Fairbanks, but around Alaska, that we can share the best of education. God bless you. And without further ado, I just want to say once again, I'm fortunate. We have a great community, and I'm glad you all could come out and take a look at our kids today, because they're why we do our work. Without further ado, Mr. Governor Sean Parnell.
Thank you, Doctor. Well, good morning. Young people, it's great to see you. Thank you for leaving school. Was that pretty difficult today? No? Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us for this this great moment in our own history as a state. And Will, thank you for that rendition of General MacArthur's speech. Thank you so much. And you know, when I think about duty, honor, and country, as you've just described, there's a person in the legislature who lives those values as well. And I want to just welcome, where's Senate President Charlie Huggins? Senator Huggins, would you come up here first? Let's give Senator Huggins a hand. We have a number of other legislators with us. Would you all please come up and join us too? Legislators, would you join us? And commissioners, Commissioner of Education, Hanley. Who else do we have here? We have any other commissioners here? Let's not be shy. We've got Angela Rodell, Commissioner of Revenue. We've got Diane Bloomer, Commissioner of Labor. So we had a lot of help on this bill, and there were a couple key legislators who really were known from for the Valley as your education legislators, and those were Senator Dunleavy, Representative Gaddis, and Representative Stoltz, and they're here with us today as well. You know, those of us with children, you heard Dr. Paramo say, you heard her talk about how the Mat-Su gets it when it comes to education. You all know that parents provide that initial pathway for a young person to begin to get their education. You know that children learn differently. You know that some of you young people like to visualize things. Some of you like to learn with your hands. Some of you have other means of learning, and you need those opportunities to learn through different means. And the Mat-Su, the mighty Mat-Su, gets that. And I'm just so proud of you all here. Thank you, Mat-Su Central, for hosting this time together. We knew when we went into this session that more education opportunity was needed. We also knew that more funding was going to be needed. And in my State of the State, I called together both sides of that equation and said, for those of us who want to create more education opportunity, we need to be willing to step forward with new funding. And we asked those who were focused solely on funding to step forward to create new educational opportunity. So Alaskans, you clearly said you wanted more educational opportunity. These folks all around here delivered it. More digital teaching and broadband to connect our best teachers with all of the kids in our state. More relevant testing. As I came in today, I heard young people speaking from Wasilla High here about repealing the high school graduation exam. You know, that was the first thing that the students here spoke to me about. Repealing the graduation high school qualifying exam and replacing it with the ACT, the SAT, or work keys to create new opportunities there. More choice for parents and students in the public school system by increasing support for charter, residential, and correspondence schools, as well as for vocational training. You know, with charter schools, more equitable treatment of charter school students, public school students, those charter school students, more equitable treatment for you in transportation and facilities funding. We've got a number of charter schools represented here today. We've got Academy, American, Anvil, Winterberry, Aquarian. If you're here from a charter school, would you raise your hands? All right, let's give them a round of applause and say thanks. Residential schools are also critical points of learning for those from our rural communities. We've substantially increased funding for the residential school option. And I want to recognize Mike Tucker from Denina, We were going to have a person here from the home of the Star of the Northwest Magnet School in Kotzebue, but he couldn't make it today. And Becky Morin from Galena. These residential schools, they simply rock new opportunity for our kids in rural communities. With correspondence schools, Alaska, we've always been a leader in homeschooling. Our parents have valued that. We value homeschooling as a state. We know that parents need that important option. We've increased funding for the family so they can use it for correspondence courses. If you're homeschooled or correspondence school, young person, would you raise your hand too? Let's give these folks a round of applause too. Very good to have you with us. Thanks. With vocational training, we know the majority of jobs in Alaska don't require a degree, but they do require advanced skills, that advanced training, including ones that are coming up with a gas line. Mining, oil, gas, maritime, diesel, culinary, tourism, these are the jobs we're training Alaskans for. And so vocational training will continue to grow in Alaska under our administration and under this legislation. This is where dual credits fit in. Under this legislation, Alaska students can train and get credit for a job or certificate at the same time that they're in high school. So now when you graduate from high school, if you've taken those job training courses, you can not only be certified and be job ready, you can get that high school graduation diploma as well. Help me recognize and welcome John Torgerson, Director of AvTech. Where are you, John? I saw you earlier. He's right here. And Director Doug Walrath from the Northwest Arctic Career and Tech. Where are you? Doug, welcome. Thank you for making that trip. Anyone here who has earned or is earning a certificate in the trades, would you raise your hand as well? All right, Stephen. All right. Stephen. I mentioned the gas line. Well, ANSEP is going to be a big part of that, too. We substantially increased funding for the Alaska Native Science and Engineering program so it can expand into middle schools. I saw the value of ANSEP firsthand at UAA. It's truly inspirational and provides quality training for our young people. This legislation is going to result in more relevant classes for students because if you have mastered a subject area, students can now test out of it and move on to the next level. You can do it while getting credit towards graduation and those Alaska Performance Scholarships. Well, we not only created these new educational opportunities, we increased funding, and we substantially increased funding. More funding for classrooms through a strong increase to the base student allocation, tens of millions more dollars, actually it's hundreds of millions more, but tens of millions more in 1 year for other educational opportunities, including classroom instruction. Alaska schools will see $300 million more across the next 3 years. That's significant. I want to thank you parents. Thank you parents that make a difference in these kids' lives. I also want to say thank you to every teacher, administrator, staff member, district person who you invest your lives in these kids in these ways as well. My mom was a teacher for 26 years in the Anchorage School District. I know what it's like for her to pull money out of her own pocket to take care of her classroom. I know the sacrifices that teachers make for their kids, and we want to lift teachers up as our heroes, and every one of us can think of one or two teachers in our life who have been a hero to us. And so for these heroes and the teachers who have retired before them, we have paid down $2 billion of the teachers' retirement system debt from the Constitutional Budget Reserve. But let me tell you why that's so significant, young people. That's significant because every year we have been making huge payments against that debt. In other words, we're paying for those pensions that they earned. What that means is that those annual payments squeeze education dollars and other dollars. But when you have a debt and you can pay it down a little bit, you can lower your payments every year. We lowered our payments by hundreds of millions of dollars every year. We put the state on a more firm financial footing. We made sure that you and your kids and your grandkids don't have to pay this debt because we paid that $2 billion into the teachers' retirement system. That's the good news there. Finally, we've expanded education tax credits. They now include and incentivize programs like ANSEP and STEM, early childhood education, programs that strengthen public service. As you can tell, this bill was significant in a number of ways. It not only brought together education opportunity with new funding, it set the stage to get us to that 90% graduation rate. That's our statewide goal. We want to see you succeed in school. We want to see you succeed in life. This is one step to doing that. I'm just thankful that you young people are here. Thanks for taking time out of your day. I want to ask Commissioner Mike Hanley, Commissioner of Education, if you'd come forward and say a few words.
Thank you, Governor. It's a great season of the year because it's graduation season. And I just had the opportunity to visit a graduation of my son on Friday in Golden, Colorado, and it was exciting to see the number of people and the number of students that had the hope in their eyes. And I left there and I went to Spokane and visited my daughter's graduation, and it reminded me of the importance of the work that we do. Not just for my own kids, it surely hit home with them, but thousands of individuals looking forward to the next step in their lives. And I would surely encourage every one of you to get to a graduation, a high school graduation, sometime this season. I mean, I know they're taking place all across the state in the next couple of weeks. It's inspiring, but it's also humbling, and when we realize the responsibility we have, not just to get our kids across that stage, but to have them prepared. Not graduation, but preparation. To get them to that next stage, ready for the next step in their lives, whether it's college or career or training. We have that responsibility, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this bill that moved forward, removed some of the hurdles that we had in place, strengthened the system we have in place, to provide better opportunities for our kids to be prepared when they leave. It's exciting to be a part of this. Thank you for being a part of it. And to stand here alongside of the reason that we do it, it's a great honor. Thank you.
And now if we could have Commissioner Diane Bloomer speak to the career technical or vocational training opportunities.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you. It's another exciting day here for Alaska today, and I'm thrilled to be here as the Governor signs House Bill 278. Across our nation, folks are beginning to again recognize that career and technical education is extremely important and valuable. As we encourage higher education, we need to remember that career and technical education is also higher education. Those are the skills and trades of the vocational trades are the jobs that are going to be in high demand in our state over the next several years as our mega projects move forward. Those jobs are career advancing, good paying, and rewarding. And House Bill 278 signifies that. It signifies that that moving forward, the career and technical education folks, which is the modern reference for Voc Tech, by the way, folks, is what we'll be looking for as we fill those jobs for the gas line and for the mining projects that are coming online. We can do a better job. We recognize we can do a better job with our youth and getting them career ready. And this bill actually provides an avenue for the career and technical education recipients to work with high schools to have our kids have an advanced chance to get out there and get into those careers quickly. So it's important to remember, as the governor mentioned earlier, that 1 in every 5 jobs in Alaska needs a 4-year degree. The rest require some kind of college or technical skills. So by advancing these opportunities, we'll have our young folks in Alaska in great jobs right here at home. So thank you. I want to thank the governor, the legislators who sat there for hours listening to us try to explain what we were doing, and for the staff at the Department of Labor who spent many sunny weekends working to get this bill through. So thank all of you for being here today. It's pretty exciting as we move forward. So thanks.
And now we want to welcome Representative Lynn Gaddis.
Thank you, Governor. And good morning from beautiful Wasilla. Thank you for coming out here this morning. We're thrilled to have you come to the Mat-Su. Those who traveled from all over the state, I look around, I can see your faces, the faces that called in on those early committee meetings and testified to what we needed here in the state to reform and look at education. You know, the state being 50 plus years old, it was time to take a look. And I appreciate all of you that called in. And you know who you are, and I won't single out any individual, but there are some from charter schools, correspondence schools, some from the Mat-Su, some from Anchorage. Thank you for coming out. I especially appreciate my colleagues behind me also working with us. As chair of education, I have some folks on our education committee, folks on our finance committee that worked with me again, those weekends that we used. You know, it raised the conversation in such a way that I felt privileged to be part of this education session. So thank you again for coming out to the Mat-Su and coming to the heart of the Mat-Su, Wasilla. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks, Representative Gaddis. And now for the Mat-Su's own Tower of Power, Senator Dunleavy.
I'll be brief. I want to thank everyone for coming out today, and those folks behind me, especially the governor and representatives and senators, for putting this bill together, because this bill was it was a compromise, but it also had everybody's got a fingerprint on this bill, and for good reasons. And I think it's a bill that's going to move education forward over the next 3 years. And I look forward to the discussions embedded in how we're going to get further beyond the 3 years in terms of how we're going to educate our kids. Just going to be very brief. If you're a school board member or an administrator, can you raise your hands? Just want to take a look around. Okay, we worked on this bill in large part because of the message and the information you gave us, what you needed to move education forward. If you're a teacher, please raise your hand. You guys are the frontline heroes, okay? And we appreciate everything you do every day, very much. If you're a parent, please raise your hands. We did this for you as well, folks, okay? And finally, if you consider yourself a child or a student, raise your hand, please. And we did this bill